welcome to the first episode of Floss Toss. My name is Rachel.
My name is Sue.
And we are so thrilled to be here. This is exciting, Sue. We've talked about this for a few weeks now.
We have. It's very exciting to enter this realm of the podcast universe because we live in another realm of it.
We do live in another realm of it. We thought for today's episode, we would just chat a little bit about how we got here, why we decided we wanted to do a floss tube, share with you some of our finished objects that we've done in terms of cross stitch, and maybe talk about a few of our WIPs, our works in progress. Does that sound good, Sue?
It sounds great. One thing I had thought is we are working on two projects together in a sense.
Oh, yes, we are.
And those are the ones, because I didn't know what to bring, because, you know, we can't use all our content on the first one. There's more to come. So I was really focusing on the ones we're doing together mostly.
Yes. Okay. That sounds good. And I've got a few of, I don't know. We'll just go with the flow and see where it goes.
We will, because that is how we do our YouTubes usually. Our podcasts are very
so let's
flowing.
Why don't we just talk a little bit about our backgrounds here and where we're coming from. I started out 4 years ago with a podcast called Treehouse Knits, and I am a fiber artist. I spin, I weave, I knit, I sew, I crochet, and along the way I met Sue via her Periscope, I think it was initially. This is probably 4 years ago or so, when Periscope came into being, and I thought, well, I'll search on Periscope if there's anybody who has a knitting Periscope. Yeah, right. Sure. Well, up popped Sue, and it was a live experience. It was crazy. And I just kind of joined in on her Periscope, and then just kind of went from there and started out as a fan, and now I'm a friend. And since then, you know, I think maybe a couple of years ago, Sue, you mentioned that you enjoyed stitching, and you slowly started to talk about stitching. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that there is a whole world on YouTube, just like for knitting. There's a whole world, and they're called floss tubes. And honestly, I did not even know that the thread that cross stitchers use was called floss when you said that. So Sue mentioned a floss tube, that she was watching called The Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. So that was my entry back into cross stitch. I did cross stitch as a very little girl. I used, do you remember, Sue, the plastic? It was a plastic material with a grid, and you used yarn and a bigger needle. I made
plastic canvas.
Okay, I did use plastic canvas, and I made what do you call them? Coasters for your cups at Christmas. So I used red and green and white yarn, and each coaster, there were 4, and they had a bell and a tree and a wreath. I forget what the other one was, maybe a star. And you used the plastic canvas and made like a holder for the 4 coasters, you know, that kind of thing. And then I branched out into one cross stitch when I was a teenager, and it was the Kathy cartoon. I actually have a picture of it I'm going to insert here. Since then, I threw the cross stitch away, but I did stitch this as a early teenager, and then I put it all aside. So a year or two ago, I think in 2018, Sue, you got me kind of itching to try cross stitch again. And as I got sucked into floss tubes, I really entered the realm. How's that?
Yay.
What about you, Sue? How did you get here?
It's such a long and winding path, I will say. Needlework, cross stitch, counted thread is my very first love. Now, having said that, we'll go to where I am now and then kind of go backwards, because I am, as you can tell by my not so pretty background, I am a yarn dyer. I am half of the company Legacy Fiber Artz. Chelsea, my daughter, is the other half. And that just came to be in such a weird way. And it started with Periscope. And Periscope is the weirdest social platform that I love, and we have a family there, really, that meets every morning to discuss anything from knitting to stitching to hostess snowballs. Let's just say it. Our conversations are so funny and so amazing over there. And it is something that I started. I think we're on our 5th year, which is unbelievable because most people have exited that platform. I don't know that it's the biggest platform in the world, but it's such a great platform. So yeah, so that is where I started. And then Chelsea and I decided to do a knitting podcast because we were obsessed with knitting, and we did it, and we were finding it was when podcasting was huge. It was like, it was like the start of the boom of knitting podcasting. And so we really had this amazing following very quickly, which was crazy. And we were promoting everyone's goods. And we'd get notes from them saying, we have never sold out so quickly. And we're like, well, this is insane. We are both artists, and we're selling everyone's products but our own. So we just I decided I'd be a yarn dyer. And Chelsea does very little because she has 2 little ones. But what happens when you do something for a living, you need something to relax. And the way this has come full circle is crazy because I was a cross-stitch designer for 10 years. And I traveled the circuit. I did all the Spirit of Cross-Stitch and all those events, celebrations, and I taught, and I loved it. But I no longer I can't say I wasn't enjoying, but when I was stitching, I was working. So I went to knitting. And that is how knitting became so big for us. And so now I'm in the knitting world, and I love the knitting world. I love it. I love knitting. I love dyeing yarn. But I need to relax at some point. So I picked up my first love, which is stitching. And the stitching world is booming right now. If I'm like, whoa, I wish I had been able to maintain those years of hanging in there, because it did have a real low and it wasn't doing super well. And now, because of FlossTube, because of all these great personalities that are on FlossTube, the stitching world is blowing up. And it's like, well, we need to talk about this. So we need to do a FlossTube because this is so much fun, and we both enjoy it so much, so much. So yeah, that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I mean, stitching is my very first love. I have been stitching since I was a little girl. I remember doing more embroidery when I was a little girl, and ironing those Holly Hobbies onto that muslin. Remember was it Holly Hobby? The little,
yes,
and stitching them over and over and over again. And oh my gosh, crewel work. I did all the crewel work, and then I went to counted cross stitch, and then I made the jump to counted thread, which is all the fancy stitches, all the pulled work, the cut work. And that is what I was designing, and that is what I was teaching. And I loved it so much. And I had no intention of being a teacher. I was like, nope, I have 3 babies. I'm going to sit home and just design. And then I said, well, I'll teach for a year because it would be good to have that influx of money and get your name out. And I absolutely fell in love with teaching. And I taught with some of the biggest names. It was like, whoa. And not to say like I was just part of their like the Spirit of Cross Stitch world, which is just a conglomerate. Lizzie Kate started the year I started, if I remember correctly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What are we talking, the 90s or the 80s?
90s. It was when my youngest Ben was born, and he was born in 92. And when he turned a year, this was what I did for a living. And I traveled 5 to 7 times a year across the country to teach for
amazing.
A week at a time. And
did you go by your name, or did you have a designer name?
I was the Nutmeg Needle.
The Nutmeg Needle.
I was the Nutmeg Needle, and because I'm from Connecticut. So the coolest part is we were watching, I know you watched it too, that's why I said Brenda and the Serial Starter, and Laura was talking about the years that she went to the Spirit of Cross Stitch. And I was like, wow, would she ever have been in one of my classes? Like, I taught so many people. It
We were
was
just
so much
saying,
fun.
we wish we had a Brenda wall behind us and her amazing samplers. I'm all knitting, my
I'm all
yarn and my
dying.
sewing machine, and you're all dying. But, you know, I think many of us do so many different things. I
I
mean, truly.
agree. And I need the variety. Like yesterday, I just decided I couldn't really dye yesterday because I had a busy day. Busy day. I had to visit with a friend. That's way more important. And so we do our side yard visits to say, you know, the good social distancing and all that.
Yes.
And I just brought out some knitting and I need the different rhythms of
I do too.
needlework. And the rhythm of knitting right now to just settle my brain, and I don't have to look, I don't have to, I was working on something very basic. And what that does for my blood pressure is just like, oh,
I totally agree.
yeah,
It's so good for relaxing. And I think ergonomically, it's better for our bodies if we switch it up.
yes. And I do. I usually go 3 to 4 days where I'll stitch a lot for relaxation, you know, after a work day. And then the next 3 to 4 days, I'll knit a lot. And because again, the rhythm is what does it for me. What is the rhythm I need today? Is it a slow, just like, it could be stitching just a solid area where I don't have to be up and down and just.
You know, the solid area, I was working on a solid area last night, and it occurred to me it's kind of like the garter stitch of knitting. It's just like, oh, it's wonderful. I get so excited for those solid areas.
It is so wonderful. It is so wonderful. I did bring in one piece that I designed so that maybe it would spark someone's memory. And I have a lot more. And the one I really wanted to show, couldn't find. That's awful. Like, where could it be?
It's got to be somewhere. It'll
It's
pop up.
here.
We need more content for future episodes.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is
what
perfect.
I thought.
So show it. So I want to see
like
it.
every time I would try to bring in a piece. So this is called Welcome to My Garden. And if you look really closely, there's so many specialty stitches in there. Like in here, there's so many. In here, there's pulled work here. There's over one here. There's, trying to think, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing them closely enough. There's probably Smyrna. That's like a woven stitch. And the reason I really wanted to show something like this is because I hear a lot on floss tubes, like, oh, I'm not doing specialty stitches. No.
Yeah.
Specialty stitches there's nothing hard about them. And I so want to encourage people because it's all in the directions. Let's be honest. It's all in the directions and a stitch diagram. And it's no different than cross stitch. It's you come up at 1, you go down at 2, you come up at 3, you go down at 4, and on and on and on. And it's almost impossible now not to have a good stitch diagram because of computer programming, which I was doing a lot of hand drawing in my day. And I mean, my first charts, I rubbed the symbols on. That is crazy. So there was no computer program involved. By the time I ended, there was computer program involved. But again, it was so archaic. Like, it wasn't like click, click. It was like Command Z does this. Oh my gosh. But having said that, it got super, you just did it. You did boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. You didn't know there was going to be an easier way coming down the road.
No, you thought that was like genius. Like, oh, look, I'm not hand rubbing on hand rubbing on symbols.
Oh my gosh.
So you'd buy a sheet of them and you'd put them over the grid. And these were big charts.
But I love that you're saying, I do hear that a lot on Floss Tube too, that these specialty stitches are scary. That's got specialty stitches. I'm going to stay clear of it.
Even the cut work, like I'll bring in some of my cut work, and it's called lacis. Honestly, like once I started teaching, people would be like, oh, oh, that's easy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not difficult. It's heart hanger. You know, you cut away a thread. The thing is, if you cut the wrong thread, you pull a thread from the edge and you reweave it. That's all you do.
Oh,
That's all you
yeah.
do. So once I know how a mistake can be fixed, it takes away the pressure of, oh, that's so hard.
Absolutely. You're in control of your piece
Yeah,
rather than your piece being in control of you.
that's a perfect way to put it. And you are completely in control. Even sometimes when I'm, you know, frogging, which I do a lot, which is really annoying to me, you know, the cutting out. I always think, Sue, be careful. You could snip one of those threads. It's like, you know what? If I do, I replace it. It's not hard. It's not hard. So,
Or you redesign, you come up with a different solution and it's your own piece. That's how I kind of feel about cross stitch. If I'm stitching someone's design and I make a mistake, but I can live with it, no one else will ever know. It's one of the 100,000 stitches that's going into the piece.
yes.
Who cares? Especially in samplers. I feel like, you know, so what if it's shifted over just a little bit?
I agree
in some
with
cases.
You. And on one of my finished pieces, I had done that, and you were like, Sue, just leave it. And sometimes I can leave it, and sometimes I can't. But I didn't take enough time to really look at what it was. I could have left it, and it made me so mad that I didn't listen to you. Like, you know, sometimes that just shifts everything. But in what I was working on, it wasn't shifting anything.
Yeah.
And your voice was in my head the whole time, like, why did I say that? Listen. So
do you want to share with us anything else that you've been working on?
I feel like as these go, I feel like honestly, a lot of the memories of when I did, which has good information in it, will come out. You know, I think my main reason for picking this piece and wanting to talk about it today was to encourage people. Like if you see something with specialty stitches, don't immediately shy away from it. Like, because what a specialty stitch does to a piece is it gives it amazing texture that you can't get with just cross stitch. Like this texture, this would have looked totally different without all of those specialty stitches.
Yep.
And this, which is so stunning. And so I think of the reason for specialty stitchers is to give it more depth and more texture. My lesson of the day.
Thank you, Teacher Sue.
Oh, you know, it's going to make me miss teaching so much. I loved it so much.
Yeah. I enjoy teaching in knitting, in the knitting world as well. Well, I brought along with me some just things that I've done just to throw out there. So I thought it would be interesting. I enjoy hearing other people's journey along the way. And I thought I would just kind of share with you a couple of pieces that I did early on and some of the mistakes and that kind of thing. Should I just jump right into that?
I love it.
Okay, so 2 years ago, back in 2018, I jumped in and oh my gosh, there's just so many designs out there. I didn't know what designers I gravitated toward. So when I was in Chicago, I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I throw that out there. That's where I'm coming from, and Sue's coming from Connecticut. If we lived next door, that would be so amazing. But we don't, so that's why we have this platform on Zoom.
A lot.
But I was going to Chicago a couple summers ago, and as I did whenever I go to a city, I look up the knitting stores. Well, now I have cross-stitch stores and needlepoint stores that I can look into. And I went to a shop in Lamont, Illinois, which is outside of Chicago, called Inspired Needle. That was the first one I've ever stepped into in my life. And I picked up what I loved about this one, it's a Little House Needleworks. It's Sing to the Lord, but it has sheep on it. And I thought, you know what? I'm a woolly kind of person. So I thought, let me do the sheep one. And so this is my first piece.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And instead of making all the sheep white, I thought I was being,
I like it.
You know, an ode to my woolly background. I made all the sheep different colors because sheep do come in different colors. And that was my first piece. Now I went to Hobby Lobby and got a frame that doesn't really go nice with it so much as the shape, but I like kind of the barnwood. And look at my bad framing, Sue.
We've all done it. We've all done it.
Anyway. So this one is going to eventually go to our friend, Paige the Framer, which you will probably hear us talk about her a lot because she does an amazing job. And I hope you have yours that you just got from her.
Oh, how could I not? It's the most amazing piece in the whole world.
So that was, really my first piece. And while I was there, I just kind of felt like I needed to get something more from them. So I got Country Cottage Needlework. That was another one that they looked easy enough for me to start. And I did her entire series of the summer, spring, winter, fall.
Yes.
And I have no idea if anyone out there has any ideas on how to frame these. Well, I should talk to Paige, and maybe it's not framing. Maybe I make them into pillows or something, but there's summer.
They're so sweet.
Yeah, they're just sweet.
I love them.
And then winter I did on a different size, so it's a little smaller than the rest, but
so pretty.
Yeah, they're cute, But if anybody has any ideas or you've done that and you've framed them, let me know.
I can almost see them almost like banner-like. And even on a thing all together. I have no talent in that area.
I know. I need some inspiration on that one. This is another unframed.
Oh, I love that.
The rabbit. This introduced me to Brenda Gervais. Oh my gosh. Love, love, love. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one. And so those were kind of my get back in, get the rhythm going, learn how to start and stop. That's the thing. The backs are really messy on these, and since then I've learned the pin stitch to start with.
I don't know what that is. That's awful that I don't know that.
See, there's so many different ways to do things in cross stitch. There's no right or wrong.
There are, and I was also a framer for 3 years. I owned a frame business, and I learned the tricks of what you can get away with and what you can't get away with, and I use them.
Yeah.
That's part of the battle, is knowing, like, my backs aren't impeccable, but they're not bad. You know what I mean? They're just what they need to be in order to stitch the way I want to stitch and know what I can and can't get away with in framing.
That is such a good skill to know. And you've seen it all. Were there any that that's one of the worries when you give something off to a framer. It's like, oh gosh, don't look at the back.
I worry, and I did it professionally for years, and I worry because I know the tricks. So I'm not as meticulous about certain things because I know I don't have to be. And I don't enjoy. That's something like I have talked a lot about, is that meticulousness and that purist view of stitching. Like, there are purists that are purists because they feel like they have to be, and then there's purists that are purists at heart. There's no other way they can do it.
You're right.
I am not a purist. I will never even put that in the world. I'm the farthest thing from it, but I know what I need to do in order to get the result. You know what I mean? And when I was teaching, that's how I taught. Like, if it's a struggle to be a purist, you're not enjoying your craft. Like, you want to enjoy your craft.
Yes.
And enjoy it the way you do. Now, then I would follow up with, some purists enjoy that so much. So go for it.
Absolutely. That is a really good point. I don't know what I was working on once, and I was trying to perfect it, and it was making me just stop completely and not finish it. And my husband said, sometimes the enemy of good is better. And that always sticks in my mind. It's like, just, get it done, and your skill will improve over time.
Yes. And one of my least favorite words in the English language is perfection. I don't believe in perfection because it leaves no room for growth or mistakes to create something even better. Or like I am so anti-perfection. And again, unless that is who you are to your core and it brings you great joy, that's a whole different story. But if it's stopping you from doing anything, or perfection is not healthy for an artist, because you can't grow and make mistakes that could lead to something hugely wonderful that you couldn't get there without that mistake. So lesson number 2 of the day. Sorry.
We are just full of knowledge here today, aren't we?
Not.
You're right.
Nah, it's more life experience. Like as an artist, when I was in art school, I was a perfectionist. I would never could reach the level that I wanted because I was a perfectionist. So it didn't serve
and you're
me
being
well at all.
graded in school, you know. I don't know. We learn a lot more from our failures than we do from our successes.
Thank you. That is the exact point. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about the stitches that we're doing together?
Let's talk about those, because they are
the ones I copied because you're doing them and they look so amazing.
Did you copy me, or did I copy you?
I don't know how that, or we both just, should we start with the first one?
We talked about it on Periscope and I got everyone to join in, and then which, you know what, we keep talking about Periscope as far as like, we always welcome new people to the family.
Yeah.
And so it is, I am Knit24 on Periscope. So you just download the app, look at Knit24, and then since the pandemic, we have been on every morning. My goal has to be on every morning between 8 and 9.
Eastern time, US.
Thank you.
Well, you know.
I'm the worst. Yeah, so if you there's no set time. That's the hardest piece. You just set your little.
And it just tweets at you.
And if you're new coming from watching us, please introduce yourself if you're comfortable.
And we will all give you a very warm welcome.
Yes, and Rachel is she's kind of, I don't know what we call you, but
I don't know. we have our roles, but we welcome new people big time. Yes. And they only last, maybe 10 minutes to 20 minutes. It's not like you're spending the morning.
No. It's
on your phone.
Mornings I come on in 10 minutes, and other mornings we get a little carried away, and then.
Yeah.
But you come and go as you please. That's the other piece. You jump on, you jump off.
Yep.
Anyways, I just thought since we keep putting that out there, we should say that.
No, I'm glad you did that. So should we talk about A Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler?
If you could see, everyone out there should know that I am the messiest, most unorganized, but I piled them up.
I did too.
Okay.
Should we do them at the same time?
And I don't even know where you're at.
I don't know where you're at either. You've been working on so many other things lately that
I pulled it out. I think you have so much more.
Oh my goodness, yes, I guess I do. But look how beautiful yours is, Sue.
Oh, now I'm seeing yours is beautiful.
So are you using the called for threads?
I got mine from Teresa of Kitten Stitcher. I ordered the kit, and they're mostly anchor thread. I think they're almost all anchor. And now what you are going to learn about me, I don't know about you, Rachel, but I'm terrible at knowing colors of fabric.
Me too.
What the name. I'll try to get better. I know it's Zweigart because of the orange. And it's 40 count. I got super brave. What is your count?
Oh yeah, mine is Zweigart too. Mine is 32 count. I think this was my first really big long-term project, and for some reason I decided to go bigger. Or it could be 30. Actually, is it 36? I think it might be.
Oh, 36.
Maybe I have the
favorite. I love 36 count.
And this is the first stitching thing I've done with these drops. Look how messy mine are. You know, Nicole's needlework, hers always looks so pretty. How does she do that? Does she have like a comb? She combs? Oh my God. Exactly.
So Nicole, I met Nicole on our Periscope.
She's on the Periscope?
Yes,
Oh my
because
gosh.
she was a stitcher that had really converted over to knitting, and then she swung back. Oh my God, I love Nicole so much. Sorry, Nicole. I
How
love
do you
Nicole.
find anything in there?
Rachel, just go with it.
I would
She
have so
is
much
one of my
problem.
favorite floss tubers, Nicole.
She's prolific.
She's like prolific times Xfinity. Like,
Did you see the episode where she was just showing all of her unframed finished objects?
there was 2 or 3 of those, I think.
Oh
I know.
my gosh.
I know.
Incredible.
I know.
But the reason I picked up this particular pattern, it was the border.
Oh,
I just think the
about
border, and I can't wait to get to the ship.
Oh,
You all have seen it, I'm sure. I'll try and put it in
you can
here
be
so
the
you can.
responsible one and show it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting 40 count, and I think this is my first into 40 count. Now,
Here's mine.
Weather shingles, R&R.
Yeah.
They started when I started too.
Really?
And fabric was back. Yeah, I remember them. But you know what kind of took me away from stitching for quite a while was I felt like it was really hard to see all of a sudden. Like I wasn't able to see on the linens or the even weaves because I used to think 32 was small. 32 is like 10 right now for me.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I truly believe I retrained my eyes. I took time. I wear cheaters too. Usually when I'm out in the sun, I have a line here from the cheaters, but I wasn't stitching yesterday.
You wear 2 pairs of glasses at the same time.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Let's show the audience.
We'll be happy to show you my look.
Let's show our friends.
And we lost you for a minute.
I'm back. That was a call coming in. Sorry.
And I quite often, like, people will come in back in the non-pandemic days, or I'd get a call and sometimes Lily, our oldest granddaughter, who's only 2.5, like she'll be FaceTiming with me and I'll pick up and I'll have these on and the look on her face is like, Grandma, what is going on over there? So yeah, I wear 2 pairs of glasses. I love it. It's the only way I can see.
You're making your own bifocals.
I am.
You're so industrious, Sue.
How did I learn that? I can't remember how I figured that out.
It just probably, let me see what happens if I do this.
Because I hated that I wasn't, like I was hearing 40 count, and I don't think I'd go much smaller than 40 because I don't think I would personally find that enjoyable. I wish I could, but I have to be in a certain mood to work on 40 count. I do.
So you're doing 40 count there. I thought you were 36, but 40 count.
This is, I say that. I'm 99.9% sure it's 40. 36 is my favorite. That is my new absolute favorite.
Me too. 1 thread. I love it.
I hate using more than 1 thread.
Well, now I do. All the previous ones was 2 threads, and I just thought that's the way it is. But, oh, no. 36 for me all the way now.
Well, and there's 2 points to that. It's, when we're doing these pieces, like I bought the pieces for the anniversary of the hearts yesterday. The booklets alone are well over $100, and then the fabric and all the specialty threads. So you're really saving money in the long run by using only 1 thread, and your thread's going a lot further. And for me, it's a much prettier, there's something different about it that I love.
Well, you don't have to worry about the stitches laying incorrectly like you do when you're holding 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of mad that I had to pull this out today to show because now I want to work on it.
Now you're going to want to work on it. I know. Me too.
Because I have put it away for a short time.
Yeah, to do a lot of other things. Well, let's talk about the other one we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
Together.
I have 2 because I'll share the other one by the same artist. Oh my gosh.
Well, let's hold ours up first. Now, I think you're a little bit farther.
No,
Sue.
no.
Oh, Sue. Let's see. How do I start mine?
Look it. Now this is going to show our unprofessionalness. It hasn't been ironed. There's no board behind it. It's not who I am.
This is my first venture into using silk, so I did not iron because I don't know. Can I iron silk?
I should know that answer. Oh my God, Rachel, yours is
Yay.
so beautiful.
Oh, but yours is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Now, yeah, this is Gloriana silk. It's in Pacific Blue Dark. And I initially bought 4 hanks of it, and I've used the 4 hanks almost. I've used 3 out of 4, which I knew my needle point store said we're going to order more. And because it's sort of variegated, I thought, I can get it. I'm scared though. They haven't gotten it backwards, so I just ordered from 123 Stitch because they had it. But I saved one skein of my old so I can blend it in a little bit with the new ones I get.
Rachel, that is so stunning. You're farther than me. Now I got to work on this today. See, this is why.
You're farther, aren't you?
No.
You got more than the tree.
No, because for me, I always do 90% of something and then move on. You know that about me. So I've done 90% of square one and gone, I'll just move on to. So this.
Look at yours.
I love it.
It's floche, right?
It's floche. I'm using floche. This is 32 count, like cobblestone. I don't know. I'm sorry.
So yours is going to be really big on 32 count.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's stunning. It's stunning. I'm loving the floche, but so I have another, we should say this is Modern Folk Embroidery.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Sue. And I actually do have it's their make along for the year for 2020.
And
he's calling it a family patchwork sampler.
Mm-hmm. I love it so much.
Oh, so do I. It's incredible. And all those blank spaces, we can put in the initials of our family members,
I know.
Which might take me longer to figure out than stitching the whole thing. I'm a little.
Oh, well, it's exciting. I've talked about this in many places. Both Rachel and I are really into heirloom. I would call this heirloom stitching, like things that we're going to pass down in our families. And this one for me, my favorite new word is bequeathed, is going to be bequeathed to Chelsea, my daughter.
Yeah.
And I have 2 other pieces for my boys.
So what initials will you put on there? Your nuclear family or your mother?
I don't even know. I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. But having said that, she can't have this till I die. None of my kids have any of these. And she keeps saying, Mom, I don't want it. I just don't want it then.
Yeah.
Keep it at your house.
I have 2 boys, teenage boys, and they are just rolling their eyes like, oh, fabulous. Oh, I just pray that I get daughter-in-laws that will appreciate this. If not, someone who does will find it at the Goodwill and they will save it and cherish it, right?
Or my thought is I'm going to leave things to, like somebody said to Paige, remember that conversation? Somebody said, if I die and my children, like I've told my children if they don't want them to bring them to you and give them to, Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll bequeath to Paige.
Yeah, bequeath. So this is being bequeathed to Chelsea. Then I have Jacob is my middle. And he is beyond thrilled about this. He asks, like, have you worked on it? He, again, doesn't realize I have to die before he can have it. This is the Agnès Day piece by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. Isn't that funny? And this is going to Jacob.
Oh, my gosh, I never put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so this is Agnès Day. I started this I cheated and started it a month early. When Vonna and Gary, who we are huge fans of Vonna and Gary's Fiber Artz show, they bring so much to the world.
Gary's from Michigan, and he's from a town that's like 30 minutes north of the town I'm originally from. He has my accents when he talks, and it feels like home when I hear him. I can't hear, I don't hear my accent, but when he talks, it's like, that's a family member or something. I bet I'm related to him.
I'm sure you are. Please have me over for the family reunion then. I just feel a connection with him because he's a huge biker and Dave is a huge biker. So I feel that connection too with him. Like, I don't know what that's about, but so anyways, Anya's day on I don't know what with Flosh.
I think you're farther ahead than Gary and Vonna.
I think I am. Well, you know what? I had all the stuff and I was going to start with them. And I, again, have learned through the years is when I'm in the mood to do something, do it. Like, why waste that month worth of excitement and energy?
Yes.
When I could not wait to start. And I got so much done because I had that like in me.
Isn't that why we do it? I mean.
Yes. And why wait? So then I have one more son, Ben. This is so appropriate for my Ben. I am doing the forget me not. So it's a constant reminder. I am your mother.
He's the independent one.
He's so wonderful. And I feel like all my kids I'm super close to, but it just makes me chuckle. Like, that's so Ben. Look at this. So I am going to do it very similar to yours. I ordered, it's taking forever from my local shop, which is the Thistle Needleworks in Glastonbury, Connecticut, is my local shop. I ordered a Gentle Art blue, and I believe I'm going to use Legacy 36 count from Picture This Plus, which I know is my favorite fabric. In case we are
really Legacy Picture This Plus.
Picture This Plus Legacy is the colorway. I love anything Picture This Plus. It's so hard to get right now.
I don't think I've done anything on that. I'll have to try it. What is it? What about it is so wonderful?
I love, so this is Legacy. Yeah, this is Legacy. This is one of my, I know. You know what? I can't even remember the name of this piece.
All Joys for Thine.
Blackbird, right?
Yeah, that's a Blackbird.
Yeah. So this is one of my quarantine pieces. I've finished 2 things in quarantine and I've stitched a ton.
Yeah.
I love this. This is 36 count, I think. I'm the worst. Sorry.
Those colors, that border.
And I have a giant frame on it.
Those trees. Oh.
I love it. This was such a fun. I stitched this in, I think it was 10 days.
Yeah, you're a fast stitcher. You've got it down.
Well, I used to be like speed stitcher extraordinaire. See, I'll show you my back. It's not perfect, but it's not awful.
That looks amazing.
Well,
and who cares? You're right. You know, the end result, if it doesn't show through, and when we were talking to Paige, she uses a darker background if it's dark thread on light.
That's one of the tips. If you find, like as a framer, when I was framing, if someone brought something in and there was a lot of very long carried threads, I would put a dark background behind it, which I would show them because it takes down all the color. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that has always been one of my tips is put it on a dark, like use your foam core, then put a dark mat over that and then do your stretching and all your stuff.
Yeah. So there's ways to work on that.
Yeah.
So what is it about the Picture This Plus that you love? The way they dye or the actual fabric?
I love their dye process.
Yeah.
I love the color. I really do. I love the antique. I just love it. It's a warm color, so I really like that. They have other great colors too, but this is the one especially for samplers, I gravitate towards.
Yeah, yeah. Beauties. There's one that I just started that I got. Boy, let me see if I have the.
You have that frame.
I have the frame, yeah, that you sit on. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show it, but
I love it.
Yeah, I got the
oh, I love that.
I'm gonna turn this, I think, into some sort of stitching bag, or I've been making these little booklet things.
Oh, we missed. I was going to say, let's talk about the cuckoo clock. It just went off.
Oh, the cuckoo clock. You know who else has a cuckoo clock?
I know, and I'm glad. Maybe I don't think Brenda will watch this or Laura, but what you do when the cuckoo clock goes off, let's show them.
Oh my God, are we going the wrong way? I can't tell. I'm going a different way than you, but
it's okay. They got the point. So every cuckoo gets a, just so you know that, Brenda and Laura.
But I think her clock is calibrated a little better than yours.
Yeah, like it's 11 o'clock and that went off twice.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. I adore it.
It's great.
A gift from Jacob when he was in Switzerland, and I asked him to bring me back a cuckoo clock. It's never the correct time or the correct.
Yeah. We were in Austria and Germany last summer, and I was so tempted. But when you're there and you see the thousands of them everywhere, you think, oh, this is kind of a kitschy thing. What do I need this for? Now that I'm home, I want one. Darn it. Darn it.
I love it. I don't think it's anything super fancy, or, and let's face it, he didn't have much money to be spending, but
yeah, they can be expensive.
One of my favorite things.
Yes. And
it's because he bought it for me.
And he hauled it for you safely. He got it back. Was he backpacking? Because that would be impressive.
No, he was in school.
Oh, one of those.
He never went. I didn't even care. I was like, whatever.
No, it's so good to travel. But yeah, I got this finally. I got it in the mail. When I saw it, I just, whose is this? This is with my needle and thread. Yeah. This is Brenda Gervais again, right?
I love
Is that Brenda Gervais?
Yep. I love
her. And it's actually really small. I mean, I'm doing it on 36. This is the darkest linen I've ever used so far, and I love it. Love it. But you know, there's so many different colors in it. There's actually a few colorways that 2 stitches. It's like, why am I buying the whole?
I know. And you know what? The more you stitch, the more stuff that you have already. That's when I get a little more particular now about, like, am I really going to buy a full skein when I could use DMC for that one spot?
Yes, I will be doing that now.
Yeah.
More in the future.
Yeah, but then you now have that full skein of color that you'll be able to use somewhere else.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. But I didn't realize that until I got everything, and newbie mistake.
I've been doing it for 100 years and I still do that because it's easy. It's like, just give me them all.
Yeah. But you know, back to the stand, I love stitching this way. I know we both use hoops in different ways. I like my hoop, drum tight. I like how it opens up the holes, but I love sitting on this. I don't know if you can see from here, but I sit on it and I've got, I mean, sometimes I just keep my one hand over here. I can grab it.
So are you a stabber? Are you stabbing with that?
Yeah, I'm a stabber. I cross every stitch.
I stitch so like arbitrary, like sometimes I cross every stitch, sometimes I move all over the place, sometimes I have a hoop, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
All in the mood, I swear.
And in the thread, if I'm using DMC, sometimes I will do the left to right, upper right hand corner all the way across if I'm filling in. But I don't know, I just really enjoy making each X. I find it relaxing. I'm not in this to produce, would I like a sampler wall? Yeah, sure. But
I'm gonna have a sampler wall. I go both ways. I like to produce, but I also do huge pieces because I love huge pieces. Like I just started doing some smaller pieces because I was feeling overwhelmed by not finishing.
Same.
So I like that palette cleanser of a smaller piece to say, oh, I finished something. Now I'll go back to my big. I mean, I cannot wait to show some of the things down the road that, like the Queen sampler. Wow.
Are you doing the Queen sampler?
Oh, yeah.
Did I know that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did know that. You're not doing it where the back and the front are like Vonna.
Have fun with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I have enough. I don't know that I can say that. I was going to say I've done enough specialty stitches in my life that I know how to do it with maybe not following that exact path. That would make me crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe that's.
And it's an older pattern, I think you had mentioned. It leaves a little it's not perfect for a beginner, let's say,
Oh,
who needs their handheld.
It's rough, and I never say this ever. I always say, how bad do you want to do it? If you want to do it bad enough, you can do it. You can do anything. That is not the case with this one.
Yeah. See, when you said that, I was like, "Ooh, I think I'll steer clear of that for now."
Yeah, in my opinion, there's nothing easy about it. There's nothing easy about it. It's all in the instructions are difficult.
Yeah.
But it also was in a day when the instructions, they didn't have all the capability to do all the great diagrams, and the organization of it is very mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
It's very mind-boggling, but it's beautiful, and I will finish it.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Should we share our FFOs from Paige?
We should. I just want to show
do that.
One by quarantine.
Yes.
Just because I want to put it away and forget it. And send it off to Paige.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So this is Nicola's little quarantine piece. And my favorite thing, it says, stitched when the world stood still in 2020. And this is for my beautiful youngest granddaughter, she was born in January. So, everyone's saying like, oh, 2020, get it over with. It's the worst year of my life. Nope. Charlie was born. Mm-hmm. Charlie Sue was born. It's the best year of my life. So this will be bequeathed to her. And I will, when it's framed, I will have a little pocket and an envelope in the back writing her a letter.
Oh, yes.
I am so happy about this.
Mm-hmm.
And, originally I was like, I'm going to dirty down the fabric when I'm done. I wish it was more like, and the colors are kind of bright. Well, you know what? I love it. I'm so glad I plowed ahead. I love the colors. I love everything about it.
I love the colors too. I hope it's showing up well. I think are familiar with this one. Yeah. This is one of Nicola's small little gems, or what she calls them.
And I
something like that.
This one I stitched so quickly, and it's all DMC, so it wasn't outrageously expensive to do. Mm-hmm. And it's not even, it's hard to get all those colors.
Yes.
Nobody ever has all of them. So then you can't work on this spot because that color wasn't.
And during a quarantine, you don't want to buy one skein of DMC from Sassy Jack's and
Honestly, I will admit I'm a DMC buyer at a big box store. That is something I will. Yes. But I love my cross stitch shop so much, and they have been so lovely to me during this quarantine that I just said, put together all the colors. And I probably paid triple, but I really wanted to support them as much as, and I have been a lot. So
Oh, I love it. And 2020 is going to be a year that maybe they'll talk about when she's in high school. And she's going to bring it in, and she's going to say, this is what I stitched.
However,
in the corner.
If I'm still alive when she's in high school, she won't have it yet.
Yeah, I know.
But I'll let her borrow it.
She can borrow it. Yeah.
I'll let her borrow it. So these two have been my major quarantine finishes. Mm-hmm. And then I've worked on a ton of other, but.
How do you see it framed?
Oh, this one, I haven't really pictured it. I am one, which you will see, I love a big chunky frame on a smaller piece.
Yeah.
I'm not huge into matting. I know my, this piece was matted.
Yeah, that was the thing to do back then.
That, and it's terrible to say, but the only matting I like on cross stitch is the suede mats. They cost as much as the frames.
Oh my gosh, and that's what Paige did for me.
I know, they're amazing. But I'm not a huge lover of mats to begin with. I want to focus right in on the piece. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I have this way of not.
Yeah, and I mean, when did mats come about? Because when you see old samplers framed, they don't have mats. What made us go with mats?
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be something you should look into for the next time, Sue.
Okay, well, are you asking me to do that? I am not a researcher. Poor Rachel. I said, well, I'll just show up. Okay, I can't do anything else. I don't know how.
It's all good.
How lucky am I? I have a knitting podcast where Chelsea does all the work, and now I have a YouTube work. But I'm here for you, Rachel. Whatever you need me to do, you.
You're the spokesmodel, content expert.
No. All right, let's talk about our best friend, Paige the Framer.
Yeah, seriously.
The reason we want to talk to you about her, because she was so generous for us, and she does framing videos on YouTube. She's Paige the Framer, and she asked us if she could, like, if we could each make an appearance on a video with a special piece and do it. And we were like, yeah, we're totally in.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But then she did it and just gave them back to us with no bill.
Honestly,
So generous.
And she's been in business for almost 20 years. She knows, she's like a framer with a capital F.
Okay, let's talk.
I am so impressed.
I was a framer. I was a framer in little tiny letters. She is a framer in the boldest. She knows everything. She goes to all the, she knows her craft. I just walked into it and was taught by my friend who I bought the business from. And I just, again, like I do everything, I did it so that it came out beautiful, but maybe I cut certain, I don't know. That is not Paige. Paige is a professional.
Yeah. You got to watch. She has, both of our videos are now up, aren't they? Yeah. So if you're interested, you could go to, if you're on Instagram, I'm Treehouse Knits on Instagram, and there's a link to the video, but go to Paige the Framer. I don't know, is she Paige the Framer on YouTube, or is she, her shop is called Frame and Fiber.
She's Frame and Fiber.
Yeah. I got to know Paige because of the fiber, and now, you know, and through the back door, I'm astounded that I have a friend that is that talented in framing.
She is. Well, and she was an original Periscope friend. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, okay, so we got to show what she framed for us.
Tell me this, at the end of yours, did she show the actual, I
don't think so.
Okay, so at the end of mine, she showed the actual stretching of the needlework, which as a needleworker, handing off a piece of needlework to a framer, that's a, like, what are they going to do with it? Like, how are they going to mount it? Do they know the proper procedures? In my eyes, the proper procedures.
Yeah.
And she does. At the end of the video with me, she shows it.
That was fascinating.
Are you ready?
You show yours. You show yours first.
Oh my God, it is amazing. I haven't stopped looking at it.
That frame is perfection with it.
Yeah, so what we did is, because she is promoting, like, having stitchers send her stuff to be framed. That is what she does in her business. So we did this via Zoom or whatever we used. I picked out the frame. That was the main thing. Everything else, you know, glass is glass. But and it is museum quality glass, and we're in a room. I'm in a room filled with windows, but if you have this on a normal wall, it looks like there's no glass on it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
She used spacers. The frame is exactly what I want. I love a huge frame on a little piece.
It really draws your eye into Mary Mac, doesn't it?
Yep. So it's Miss Mary Mac by Lottie Da, who's another one of my, they are probably my number one. I love Lottie Da. I love them so much. So yeah, so I picked out the frame. Again, go watch the process. It's a beautiful process. Paige is probably the warmest and most welcoming human that I know. So I was very comfortable saying yes or no. You know, I was a bit ridiculous at a certain point. I love it so much. Show yours.
I'll try and put the link down below, because I can do that, right?
Yeah, you can. I can.
Can you just show the paper on the back? I love the paper she put on yours.
And when I watched her put this on, she does everything so seamlessly.
I know. I love that. It's the little touches like that just, okay. So mine, and I have a window in front of me too.
I have to put this down because it will distract. Yeah. Oh, I love yours. I love yours.
This is Silent Night by Little House Needleworks or Country Cottage. I don't know. I forget which one, and I should know, but they're mother and daughter, so they'll be okay if I mess up on who it is. Yeah, and I knew I wanted a big, chunky, white, rustic frame to kind of simulate the outside of the church on it. Oh, yeah. And the fabric I used is a sparkly fabric. I wanted it to be like nighttime. Since it's something I'll probably put up only around the holidays, we went with that velvet mat you were talking about. And the velvet mat, I don't know if you can see it in here, but it's a modeled mat, and it really goes well with the linen I used, because the linen is modeled.
It's beautiful.
Just a lighter shade.
It's beautiful. That's again why I like those mats, because they add more texture to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So pretty.
I couldn't be happier. Could not be happier. So
she is a pro. Honestly, having been a framer, I was not a framer.
Yeah, she's incredible. And I was kind of concerned about the shipping. I was nervous when the package arrived. I have never met anyone who she must have used $20 worth of
and
materials.
There is no way the way she packed it. She built up cardboard to fill this space. So
yes.
It was like, I mean, it would take so much for there to have been any damage. There was no possible way. Yeah. I truly believe they could have taken it and thrown it in that box.
Nothing was jiggling. It was
it was like, really, Paige? Like, I'm trying to get, it's like one more layer, and then add it here. And I'm like, but you know what? I knew when I opened it, it was going to be perfect because of that.
Yeah, the whole process was really fun for me, I have to say. And so if there's anybody out there who has things that have not been framed, you don't have a local frame shop that you trust, maybe you don't even have a local frame shop, consider Paige. Check out her site, check out the videos to get an idea of what the experience looks like online. Because I was skeptical at first, how is that going to work?
Yeah, I agree. And there's such a misconception of this thing where the big box stores are cheaper.
Yeah.
It's really a misconception. It really is, because I remember when I stopped being a framer and I considered going to one and bringing some of my artwork. When I heard the price, and it was a sale price, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was like, really? And I walked away. I was like, that is not, because I thought, well, it wasn't a super special piece. I wasn't going to go to like a frame shop nearby thinking it would be way more expensive. That is not the case. That has not been the case for me at all.
Yeah.
At all.
And I assume, there's different levels of price at a frame shop. So.
Oh, there's a million levels of price at a frame shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do think you can do that. Well, this is what I was thinking. I would have people come in and go, well, I was thinking like $20. And I would say, you know what, I can't get anywhere near that. And you can, if you buy it yourself and you stretch it yourself. And, and that's the thing. I mean, if it wasn't for Paige and her amazing process, I would be stretching them myself and bringing them to a shop.
Yeah.
But I did that this was sitting for years because I was going to stretch it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, she's got a process that's pretty seamless and the most efficient way to do it.
Because I thought, like, when I started watching, I said, well, I could probably give her a few hints to save some time. And I was like, nope, can't, nope, don't know anything. She's amazing. I will sing her praises forever.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else we were going to chat about today? I think this is probably long enough for our first episode.
I agree. I feel like literally we could sit here for 10 hours and do this, but we want to be able to upload it and we want to have content for possibly another one.
I know. Now, I'm always alone on my podcast. And so now I see why the ones with two people are longer. You just get to chatting. And
I really enjoy it. Like, for me, it's such a treat always. Like, I've never done it alone. So the conversation is, for me, what keeps the podcast going. I think I would be like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like morning. Okay, got to go by.
Yeah.
But this has been so much fun.
This has been so much fun. And we're really excited. We want to be a part of the Floss Tube world. And hopefully this is our way of just saying hello. Yeah. We're out here too, and I know both of us love watching so many. I love Brenda and the Serial Starter, obviously Fiber Talk. You told me about cross hatch quilts. She's got
Yeah.
maybe 4 or 5 episodes. I love her stuff.
There's so many. I feel bad because there's so many that I love, and that
Nicola. I love watching Nicola Parkman. Fiber
I
Talk,
know.
obviously.
I know, and I honestly found my way into this world through, help me,
The Real House. Yeah, the Housewives. I
Housewives
know.
Cross Stitch. I don't know why I started watching them, and I love them so much for their relationship because I have a Chelsea who we have this together, and I love watching them create because they are now creating a phenomenal business for themselves, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I love their relationship. And the only piece of it that's so hard is that she's sitting right next to her, and I want to be right next to my Chelsea. So I'm always like, green with envy, but so happy for them that they are. And then
every week. I don't know how they're so consistent.
They're like, they put us to shame, Chelsea and I to shame. Like, there's no way that can happen. And Cash was born right around when Lily was born. They're a little closer.
Yes.
I think he's 6
right.
months younger, maybe. And so I just feel like, oh my gosh, it's just so warm and fuzzy to watch them, I think. And then to watch their business, how they're going at it and it's growing is amazing.
They are hard workers.
They are hard workers. They are hard workers. So.
Oh, well, this has been great.
Hopefully next time you see me, I'll have normal hair. Oh my gosh.
I might too, actually. We were hoping to do this every other week.
I'd like to think we could. I feel like we can because we are both at a point in our lives where we are able to find time.
Yes.
With Chelsea and myself, it's so hard with the girls. Like we really fly by the seat of our pants, and it works, and we're so doing it that way. But we seem to have a little more freer time. Like I can put time into my day. There are times this office will be full of yarn for this.
Yeah, I don't know. We love seeing that. I love seeing all your yarn, and I bet half the people watching this right now knit.
We're all knitters, stitchers, quilters. We all are. We all are. So yeah.
So the hardest part is ending, isn't it? When you have 2 people. So you can find me.
Needles up.
Yeah, you do needles up. What do we need to do? Toss that floss.
Toss that floss. Okay, I love her name, and I can say that because Rachel created it, and I love it.
So if somebody's already used it out there, it's my fault. But Floss Toss.
I don't think so. I think we looked.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I looked. There was anyway.
So let's pretend we have hands. I can't do it every time because then it's going to be a mess.
I'll just toss my floss. But yeah, you can find me on Treehouse Knits on Instagram. And you, Sue, are
Knit24.
Yeah, on Instagram. We've got knitty names. I don't know. Maybe at some point we'll get a Instagram name. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we will. Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? Yep, we'll see. But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. So until then.
Hold on.
We got to work on toss that floss. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.